Hey there, how's everybody doing? This is Kevin B, better known as Skeeter, host of Let's Talk About Adoption and Foster Care. That was a little song from Daddy Roots from Anguilla. Daddy Roots from Anguilla, my home island, where my grandfather, Thomas Hodge, was born, which leads me into my topic. This is episode 2 of this podcast. And we're going to call this episode Medical Records and Birth Certificates. But before we get into that, we're going to do a little shout outs and things of that sort. First of all, we want to give a shout out to Boss Painters. Boss Painters is a small company located in Delaware, and they do all kinds of work. They do construction as far as building your basement, painting, all kinds of handyman stuff. You name it, this man does it. He's on my website, which is livingwithmyshadows.org, and just go on the vendors. What we are trying to do is give shout out to vendors to help small businesses. We also are starting a advertising referral business where people pay $25 a year to, for me to host them on my website. We all had over 40 some odd thousand views in the last 2 years. And so we just want to, reach out to $25 just helps with the maintenance of the site and things of that sort. But that's what we're trying to do. And not only that, we're just going to go ahead and give a shout out to myself. I am the author of Living My Shadows, Dreams Do Come True. That's my first book that I wrote. It's about my journey in the foster care system, the adoption system, and also finding my biological parents. And then I did a follow-up book called Shadows of Emotions, Life After the Dream. It talks about all the emotional stress that I had to go through and still go through after finding my family and trying to combine everything together. It's not peaches and creams where a lot of people think it is. It's a lot of things. And I go through a lot of emotions and I talk about that. I feel as though that I want my life to be an example for those that are going through the adoptee process or in the foster care system. I am a product of that. I can talk about it. I have firsthand knowledge of it. But everybody's experience is different. Everybody's experience is different. So, you have to just get in where you fit in. And hopefully that, we'll be able to help you out. Both of these books can be found on my website at livingmyshadows.org, and just go on to my journey. You'll see the link. I'll sign one book, which is the first book, and I'll send that straight to you. And the other book is the link on the Amazon. And please, once you get the book, go ahead and leave a review. We just want to get the word out there, and we just want to be an encouragement to individuals that are going through this thing called adoption and this thing called foster care. Just want to let everybody know that you can be somebody, you can be successful, and you don't have to be a statistic or anything like that. Don't let them tell you that. And you'll hear about my story, if and you're resident with you, especially when you're an adoptee, or in the foster care system. Which brings me to my topic. This is episode 2 of Let's Talk About Adoption and Foster Care. We're going to be talking about medical records and birth certificates. Medical records. Let's back up. Let's talk about birth certificates first. For 56 years, me as a foster care person and an adoptee, I never got the chance to see my medical records in my teenage years at all, or even in my adolescence. Never got to see that. I didn't see my birth certificate until I was age 56 years old, when the state of New Jersey decided to pass a law that adoptees can have access to their records. And growing up as an adoptee, it was rough. It was rough simply because as an adoptee, and when you're adopted with your family, everybody has their certificate. Everybody knows when they was born. Everybody knew, how much they weighed and things like that. And I could never answer that question. You know, it was just rough. Used to get teased about that too. You don't know when you was born. Uh, you might have been a fat baby, or you might have been a skinny baby, or you know, all kinds of things that kids will say to you know, that wasn't nice back then. And, you know, I grew up in the '60s and '70s, so you can imagine how what people were saying. So it was a rough thing. Just want to let those that are considering adopting kids, please, if you have access to the medical records or if you have access to the birth certificates, let them see that. Let them see that. Let them identify with something or something about themselves. You know, when it comes to, you know, when I was born, how much I weighed, you know, because they're going to ask you them questions. Because when they get out in the real world and people start talking, they're going to want to know, you know, want to know about themselves. You know, I had my adopted parents on my birth certificate, which was crazy because they said that my adopted mother had me at the age of 14, 15 years old. I mean, that's possible, but probably it didn't make no sense, you know. Of course, you know, you don't look like them and everything. And, you know, my name was Hodge Hodge during my elementary school years. And then all of a sudden, I had a name change, and you know, and it confused people. To this day, I have identity issues, as you can see on my Facebook site and everything else. You know, I was born Kevin Hodge, and then I wound up being Kevin James Barnett, and then I changed my name because I felt that, you know, my mom, you know, disowned me, so I didn't want the Kevin in my name, and so I came up with the name Ishmael. I got that from the Bible. God hears thee. And so, you know, and Ali, my favorite boxer and hero at the time was Muhammad Ali. So I changed my name to Ishmael Barnett Ali. And then, you know, I had grandkids. And then I had a grandkid that was named after his son, which was named after me, you know, Kevin James Barnett. So I went on and had to change it back, you know, because I'm the senior. You know, so I wound up putting all the names together: Kevin, James, Ishmael, or Kevin, Ishmael, James, Ali, Barnett. Put all of them together. You know, it's all about me. But and even to this day, I have to explain myself. You know, so I've been explaining myself for years, all because of a damn birth certificate. You know, so please, you know, those that are thinking about adopting, you know, ask that lawyer or that adoption agent, let me have a copy of this so when they get older, they can be able to see this and see who they are, you know, and it's really important. I can tell you that from experience. You know, I went through a whole lot of things when it comes to my identity, and it's all because of a daggone birth certificate. Medical records, another thorn in the adoptee's life. Medical records. Every time I went to the doctors, from when I was small, when I was a teenager, when I became a young man, joined the military, all the way up to 2017, which I was about going on 57 years old, when I found out who my biological parents was and what ailments they had and all that good stuff. And I was able to tell the doctor that I didn't have this in my family. I didn't have this. And I can tell them 100% certainty about my medical history. That is very important. It is very sad when a doctor asks you, do you have a history of high blood pressure? Do you have a history of diabetes? Do you have a history of cancer? Do you have a history of heart disease? And you can't answer anything because you have no clue to who you are, what your medical record or your medical past in your family is, and you just have to say, I don't know. That is very, very heartening. I can't even explain it. I did it for 57 years, not knowing anything about my medical history. So we adoptees would like to ask anybody who's thinking about adopting kids, make sure you get some medical records of their biological parents, because the fact is, biologically, you're not attached to them. So they cannot put you down as, well, yeah, well, my adopted parents have this, this, and that, because it's not going to be a match. Does not take away from how much you love the kid and how much your kid's going to love you, but you have to be honest with them. That's what this whole thing is about, being honest with your adoptee. Because with adoptees, we go through a lot of mental anguish because of birth certificates and medical records. 2 little pieces of papers ruins our life until we find out who we are. So I ask, in behalf of all adoptees, please, if you plan on adopting a kid, male, female, please let them know, or please reach out to the adoptee organizations or whoever you're adopting the kids from, DIFAS, social services, the lawyers. Get that paperwork. Get that paperwork, because mentally that will help a whole lot. Well, that's all I have to say about them 2 different subjects. And we like to keep our podcast short, sweet, to the point. Sometimes we might go over a little bit. In the future, we're going to try to do, every week. But right now, we're just trying to do what we can do and we can fit in our time. Like I said, we're going to try to do videos and audios. The reason why I did another video is because I feel comfortable doing the videos. I'm still learning the audio part on some of these podcast applications. So I'm trying to, go in a little slowly. But however, we're going to have a guest. Her name is Amanda. And this is Adopted Life. She has a blog on the Instagram. We're going to set up a date. And, as we get more proficient with this, we're definitely going to have some guests. So if you have any questions or any topics as an adoptee or adopted parent, soon to be adopted parent, or even in the foster care system, go ahead and email me at livingmyshadows@gmail.com. Or you can go to my site, livingmyshadows.org, and you can contact me through there. I do motivational speaking and things of that sort, and I got my books. And also, if you're interested in hosting your business on my site, $25. That's all for a year. And we're just trying to get the word out there. We also have a Facebook page. Let's talk about adoption foster care. It's on Facebook. And we also have one on Instagram, and soon to have one on Twitter. So with all that being said, we thank you for your time.